What's up, y'all? It's City Fidelia, and you are watching The Shifters.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with your favorite hip-hop and pop culture show, The Shifters. My name is Kevin Bourne.
And I'm Vladymir P-H. How you guys doing today?
Good, good.
Yo, we got a special guest in the house, man.
Do the intro, go ahead.
Okay, well, man, I'm super excited about this one because we got City Fidelia in the house. And I've been a fan since, oh my God, we're almost in 2020, so almost 10 years, man.
Yeah, man, I've been out here, man.
Welcome to the show, man. Yo,
I appreciate
that's
you
what's
guys
up,
for
man.
having
That's
me.
what's up.
No problem,
So you're an artist, you're a rapper, a singer, a songwriter, you
Yeah.
do all that kind of stuff, right? For the people, because at the same time, you know, you're also repping the city of Ottawa, but you've done stuff outside the city as well.
Yeah.
So can you just guide us through like what exactly you've been up to lately, and like and what kind of project you've been on, right?
So yeah, right now I'm like working on an album
Okay.
called Time Heals All Wounds.
Okay.
So I came back to Ottawa just to kind of like, you know, go back to my roots and like really understand like, you know, the good things that come with the city, but also the pain that, you know, that came from me growing up here and stuff like that. Because sometimes when you're like elsewhere in the world, like you know, there's so much going on, so you start like inheriting like just too many things. You sometimes forget who you are. So like Ottawa was a good city for me to just like come back to my own and just be in my own element. You know what I'm saying?
How has that worked in terms of inspiring you? Because I guess the creative process when you're here versus somewhere else is very different, especially coming back to your roots.
Yeah.
With an album called, you know, Time Heals All Wounds. Like how did that work creatively for you?
Because it's like, first off, being in Ottawa, snoring like crazy.
Yep.
So it gives you more time to like think.
Yeah.
Because you're not really outside doing random stuff. Not like, you know, other places like in the world, like New York or LA, where it's like, even though it's cold, there's so much things to do. Here it's like cold, snowing every day, and there's not much to do. You have a lot of time to think, and just kind of like being close to like family, you know what I mean? Just realizing like what people are going through, and like, you know, it's crazy because when I'm like in Toronto or LA, it's like I have like a certain vibe when I'm there. I'm more of like an artist vibe.
Of course.
But when I'm back here, I'm like, oh shoot, like,
Yeah.
you know, I got homies that's in jail. Like, you know what I mean? I deal with that reality when I'm home.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just one of those things that helped me like really realize how far I came, and like also like just being here give me a chance to like sit down with certain artists and like really like put them on to like energy and really like help them expand like their vision, you know? And yeah, man.
So are you at the point now where you're kind of like the OG, like you're kind of like, you're the vet now that's kind of guiding people and stuff? And
Yeah, like definitely when I'm here, people make me feel like I'm an OG, because they're like, yo, I've been a fan for you for a long time.
But I'm saying,
like,
I remember hearing that one song. I was in my mama's basement and I was listening to that song, CD, Dripping in Swag. That was like the first time that I heard you. You were already going at it before that, but that's the first song that put me on. And I was just there like, wow, this is a different level of creativity in Ottawa. Like, this is so cool to see someone taking the music scene in Ottawa so seriously. That's why it makes me appreciate you more, not just as an artist from Ottawa, but as a Canadian artist still. Now, on the same level, since then, since you started working in the music industry, the music scene in Canada has changed a lot. You know,
huge,
I mean, now let's not even start with Drake, what OVO is doing in the country, and all that kind of stuff. How do you feel as someone who's done music both before and after this era started? How do you feel about the changes that occurred in the music scene in Canada?
Like when I started making music before, or prior to this like evolution, it was like I knew I was going to make it, but I didn't know how. You know, and I'll definitely like, hands down, I think every artist from Canada should, you know, give their praises to Drake, because like Drake really opened the door as to like this is how you can make it. You know, like really made that like tangible.
Yeah.
Whereas before it's like I knew like somehow I was gonna make it, but like I didn't really like see it like it wasn't like concrete to me. You know what I mean? It was a very abstract thought. So yeah, like Canada is definitely in a good place now. Like when I'm talking to my cousins or homies from Ottawa, I'm like, yo, Canada. Yeah, you see that artist, yo, Canada. Yeah, you know, I be flexing. You know,
you got to.
Exactly.
That's true. I know even from like I have a cousin now who's from New York who he pretty much has moved to Toronto, and I'm now seeing Toronto in his Instagram. And it's weird because I'm like, you know, he's coming from New York, but now he seems to be loving Toronto and stuff. I'm like, really? Like, except I'm used to Americans being like, yo, Canada's whack and you know all that kind of stuff. But you know, it definitely has changed though, like the perception.
Yeah, because it was whack. Even like for us, we thought being Canadian was whack. You know?
Yeah,
like,
I remember.
true.
Yeah,
you know, during Caravana, people pretending to be American and stuff like
that.
You know?
Oh my gosh,
you know, wearing those muscle shirts with big muscles. But now it's like it's different now. Now you anywhere like you go in the world, you're like, oh, I'm from Toronto. Easy conversations. Like you don't have to like talk too much. You know, it's already a conversation that's like, you know, come through. I'll show you.
I find that the ladies also assume that we're just more romantic because of
we're a lot nicer for sure.
There's definitely that. But also with the R&B scene, I find that because you also dive into like different genres as well, right? Yeah. And I found that the R&B scene is definitely Canadian now. Like it's 100% Canadian, which is different because you're listening to R&B like 10 years ago, you know, with such an American sound, and now everybody's trying to copy that Division vibe, that rural, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's crazy. I truly
believe that has to do with geography, man. Like, yo, when it's cold, what you do? 100%. You Netflix and chill. And when you run about, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it has to do, man. All those thoughts, all those like, you know, all the weather and all that inspires what people write. You know?
Yeah.
So Vlad asked that question within the Canadian landscape, but specifically to Ottawa. Yeah. How have you seen things change from when you started doing music to where the city is right now? Like, what changes have you witnessed over that time period?
I would say back then, like when I was coming up, I would say like there was like a small group of like artists I felt like were putting out like really like quality music. Yeah. But now I'm hearing like a whole bunch of like artists that are doing it, you know what I mean? Like that are making quality music. And back then too, there wasn't too much engineers. There was maybe 1 or 2 engineers. Like I think we still need to elevate the engineer side of things in the city. Yeah. Because like when people ask me like, yo, do you know any engineers? I'm like, yo, there's only 3 people that's worth their time. Yeah. 3, 4. But like I think on that side we need to pick it up. But like yeah, it's growing. We have like Night Lavelle that's doing well. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I think other people like that are on my level in terms of music, you don't need to praise him too. He's our champion right now. You know what I'm saying? Like he has the numbers, he's touring. Yeah. We got to champion that. Everybody got to champion that. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, I think it's getting to a good place. And that's why I'm happy that I came back, because I've realized that how much I've learned, how much network I've built being out here. And just like, you know, there's so much times like I see an artist from here, and let's say I have like a connect with the label, like without me talking to the artist, I'm like, I hit up my person at the label, I'm like, yo, check this guy out. And like, they have their meetings or whatnot. Even Night Lavelle, his video, Contraband. He probably doesn't know this, but like I hit up a director I was working with. I'm like, yo, hit up this kid. I'm telling you he's gonna blow up. Yeah. And that's how they connected.
Wow, okay.
That, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, me, I'm all about like.
So you also do have a hand in what's going on behind the scenes too, right?
He's a puppet master.
Yeah. Just behind, man. I just want to.
So you like video or something?
Yeah, I just want to elevate like whatever I think is dope in the city, and like whatever I feel inspires me. Because at the end of the day, it's like, man, that's how you build. You know what I'm saying? Like building blocks. You build each other, and whether someone's on your team or not on your team, if you think it's dope, like yo. Show support, you know.
Yeah. Now you looking at your Instagram, you had a good year. Yeah. You released a project with Eva Shaw. Yeah. So how was that? Like how was that whole? I mean, working together, but also just rolling that out. Like how was that whole experience of working with her?
Oh, it was dope, man. So originally the way I met her, I was working with this guy named Water. So he's part of this big EDM group called Showtech. Like you should go check them out. They're really dope. Well, like if you like that, you know, or whatever. But they're really talented.
I listen to everything, man. So I'm
but like they could do anything. Like they did a joint with Wyclef recently. That's how I met Wyclef. But we can get back to that.
Yeah, we need to get back to that.
Yeah. It's a big moment.
So and then he told me that like, oh, he has somebody that like is going into like hip hop or whatnot, and like I think you guys would be dope like in the studio together. So they live in New York and LA, but they flew down to Toronto, and me and her went in the studio and we banged out like 3 records like easily like. And from there, we're just like, hey, we got to do something together. Now we got almost like 20 records together. So we're working on some stuff. Snakes did well. It's doing well. We're going to drop that video soon. And it's cool. It's cool working with her because the way she views music is like very different. Like she's very unique in terms of how she puts music together, and then she really challenges like my vocals, you know. So she takes me out of my comfort zone and allows me to try things that I probably wouldn't try on my own. So it's really cool work.
I remember when at Blues Fest when you were performing some of the songs, like some of the songs you guys had together. I was talking with a group of guys, and they're like, they stopped the conversation like, yo, who's that guy? And I'm like, and you're performing the songs that you made with her, and I was like, yo, like this sounds good, and the guys are like, yo, who's this guy? And I'm like, oh, he's from here. They're like, he's from here? I'm like, yeah, he's from here. But they're like, they noticed something in the sound. They're like, oh shoot, like this is good, you know. So definitely when you guys put out the songs together, I was like, I love the collaboration, the fact that it was played like Snakes was played at a Raptors game.
I was like the last time I went to a Raptors game, it was playing, and Drake was there too. So I was like, I know you're feeling this. I know you're feeling this. You're gonna hear about me soon, you know.
Yeah, man.
But no, it was
big things, man. That's
and it was played. Was it one of Power 105? They played it,
Hot 97.
Hot 97. So what was that as a hip hop guy? Like how was it to know your song was played on the
literally like within a month, like 2 things that were in my like dream come true basket happened. Like, you know, the song being played at a Raptors game, like I'm a huge like NBA Live, NBA 2K, like so that's something I always wanted for myself as a kid. And then, you know, like even Hot 97, like, that's the radio station when you're in New York, you want to be on, you know, like listening to Funk Flex or, you know, all those people. And even, you know, from the time I saw like Drake doing his freestyle like on there, I was like, yo, I want to be there, you know. So just for it to happen was a dream come true, and it's just like it reminds me of like, oh, I'm a dude from like Chinatown, Ottawa. You know, like, you know, growing up with like, you know, people that had dreams of being like artists, but really didn't see that for themselves, and be able to reach like this far where I'm in rooms with like, you know, someone like Malik Yusuf, where like Malik Yusuf is one of the dopest writers, if not like the dopest writer out there, and he's been working with Kanye since College Dropout to now, you know, like so just being in rooms like that, I'm just like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, man, it's a wonderful feeling for sure.
Yeah, and then I mean the big moment is getting to rap for Wyclef. Like that has to be.
That
has to be like.
Tell me about that.
Yo, like that has to be like.
That was crazy for me, man. Like the thing is, obviously I'm Haitian, so like I've been playing Wyclef in my house since I was a kid. Like the Carnival album,
of course,
on repeat.
Of course.
You know, the song Gone to November on repeat. You know what I'm saying?
Fast
so like
cars.
it was always a dream to like fast cars, you know, it's always a dream to like meet him or whatnot. So I went to Showtech's video shoot and he was in the video or whatnot. And then Eva and my boy Water was like, oh, he's one of our cast that we're working with. Like he's from Canada. And then me and him have a mutual friend, Impulse. I don't know if you know Impulse. Yeah. So I rock with Impulse.
Okay.
And then he's like, you Haitian? I'm like, yeah. So we start speaking Creole for a bit. Then he's like, yo, rap right now. I was like, me, I'm always ready. You know, I was ready. Like my mind works fast. It's already like dialing into like, yo, what I should say, a couple old verses, throw them verses together, and you know, call it a day, you know. And then, I spit for him. And at first, you could tell he was just like analyzing, okay? And then he's like, oh, okay, this guy's serious. And then he started ad-libbing while I'm rapping. And then at the end of it, he's like, yo, that's that left talk, man. I know you got some bangers or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, hopefully we got some stuff in the future. So yeah, man, it was good. It was a good time, man. It was a good
Okay,
time.
I like to see that relationship kind of like, you know, it's meant somewhere because, bro.
100%.
Yeah. You know how I feel like there's an artist in Ottawa who just doesn't know that they're the next big thing.
100%.
You know what I mean? And that just when you look at people coming out, people think The Weeknd is from Toronto. He's actually from, I think, Brampton or Scarborough, something like that.
Scarborough, yeah.
Scarborough.
I think so, yeah.
So it's just like, I don't know if it's a stigma on the Canadian artists who come from the capital, but I find that outlets here, in whether it's CTV or CBC or whatever, it's just so hard to get them to pay attention to these artists. It's as if they're not realizing that this is a very different era, that any artist here who delivers quality content could be the next big thing, could be the next Drake. So what do you think we need to do in order to get people to, first of all, pay attention to the artists that create the quality content, and also to get the media outlets to help elevate those guys? Because I find that people are just not paying enough attention.
I think it starts with people just caring. You know what I mean? Like, not just hearing your name and being like, oh, like actually like do some research. You know, like there's like a festival. I'm not gonna say the name of the festival, but like, yeah, they did something that like got me like really disappointed and really discouraged me because I'm on a bill and I'm not even like headlining the bill, and I was like, I'm a fair guy. I'm like, okay, if someone has more followers or whatever, I'm like, cool, they should be headlining. But I'm like, the headliners don't have more followers, they don't have more streams, and they're not even from here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's like this. It was kind of. So I looked at it. I was like, if this is the case for me right now, this is something I would have done 5 years ago, not where I'm at in my career. But since there's been like a company that like is a part of it, and they've helped me out in terms of like advice and just like connecting me with some people. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just go through with this. But like it just comes back to like just people caring, people understanding like the value of the artist that comes from here.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I think part of it is that a lot of the media in Ottawa isn't owned by Ottawa companies, right? It's like most of it's owned in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, and you have big dollars, you have big labels pushing money at these companies. So it's like, a lot of times some of these outlets don't even have control over what they play. I mean, they don't necessarily have as much control over what they play. So I think, we just need more Ottawa-owned
media
like us.
But yeah, man, we're building, man. It's the beginning, man.
Yeah,
It's the beginning.
At the same time, like I find like along this, before we wrap up, along the same lines, I find that it's crazy that I like it what you said, because I find that for the artists here to even receive the attention they deserve, we had to elevate ourselves to a certain level so that they got the attention that they had to receive. I look at like someone like Vi, who should be like the next big star. Like, it's crazy. Now she's doing a whole bunch of crazy things, and we're not taking credit for that. I'm just saying that I remember how hard it was for us to even consider the idea of getting all these artists' songs played on the radio, and now for some reason, all eyes are on them. But it's just crazy that all of that has to happen before. Like a bunch of other platforms needs to co-sign these artists before they actually be received the type of attention that they need.
Did you guys watch the launch yesterday?
Yeah,
I
100%.
did. I watched it.
100%.
I
was so stoked.
I was stoked. I was like emotionally invested too, man. Like, I know like from that group yesterday, I'm really close with this girl named Amber J.
Okay.
And then Vi's like from the city. I've talked to her a lot of times. And man, like some of the stuff the judges were saying, I was just like, I highly disagree with you. Like with Vi, they were telling her to like, do her runs differently. But I'm like,
to go high instead of
And I was like, but that run is what makes her.
Yeah.
Like, that's
and when she did it, it didn't even sound right. It was just like, that doesn't sound,
So I just like hope like, it's all obviously good to get like feedback.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like, I hope they really embrace what they do and just, try to own their craft and take their craft to the next level instead of like trying to fit in what pop needs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
'Cause it's like
Yeah.
we don't want J. Cole doesn't sing like Drake, or J. Cole doesn't sing like Daniel Caesar.
Yeah.
But we like the way J.
Pop
Cole
never
sings.
trying to
'Cause he
sing like
sings
Mike.
like himself.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, that was my only thing. But it was cool to see them like do their thing. Like I was like hyped watching it. Like you know.
Yeah, and I think like that kind of like those kind of platforms are necessary because like if not for those platforms, like Ottawa artists wouldn't get that kind of shine on that level.
100%. That platform, and like even if like those people didn't win, like they want still. Like,
The
to get to that exposure
Yeah.
to get to that point, and like there's a lot of work that they did in order to get on television, and like just knowing like the people that I know that are on the show, like they grind, like they put me in a position where I'm like I'm not doing enough. You know, so yeah, no, it's definitely a great platform.
Well, man, thank you very much for coming to the studio, man.
But we got to do this
fun.
again.
So obviously we just started a new year. We're in January. What can fans expect from you over like 2019? Maybe some things that you have on the go that you can maybe tell us about.
So right now I got like some behind the scenes things that I'm working on. I don't want to say too much until like it actually.
No exclusives for us.
Yeah, you guys definitely get the exclusives. I just want to get the things in motion before. But then besides that, I'm working on an album, like I told you guys, called "Time Heals All Wounds."
So are you doing the acronym like THAW?
THAW, exactly.
Oh, okay.
And there's a whole thing behind it.
Okay.
And so I'm kind of like, that's why I'm back here, and I'm taking like February off, like just in the studio, nothing else. And then man, I'm hoping that gets nominated for a Juno, Grammy. Like that's the kind of texture of music I'm going for.
Okay.
So, yeah, man.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, man, thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
It was
man.
actually a pleasure to have you in. And again, like when the album drops, we have to do this again.
No, yeah.
100%.
Like I said, we're gonna do 1 hour.
1 hour.
We're doing 1 hour. We're gonna
I'm down.
I want you guys. I'm gonna send the music earlier. I want you guys to dissect some of the lyrics.
We'll have it all
We're
set
having a
up.
real conversation.
Let's do it. Let's do
Nice.
it, man. I'm with it. Well,
Cool.
again, guys, that was City Fidelia.
Yes.
Make sure to go ahead and look him up. Where can people find you on Instagram?
Cityfidelia.com, Instagram /City Fidelia, Google City Fidelia.
Fantastic.
What camera? I don't even know what camera.
Don't worry, you can look everywhere.
But yeah, City Fidelia, everything. You know?
Okay, cool. We'll have a link to your streams in the description below. At the same time, thank you very guys for tuning in. My name is Vlad IHC. You can find me everywhere at Just As Vlad on social media. And we got
Kevin Bourne. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Kevin B Unfiltered, and on Twitter at Kevin R Bourne.
and we are the Shifters. Make sure to tune in. And until next time, guys, bye-bye.
Peace.
Sweet.